Quentin Tarantino is going viral for ranking his top 20 movies of the 21st century, except not in the way you think he would. Now, it seems pretty harmless that a well-renowned director and cinephile, Quentin Tarantino, would talk in length about the movies that he really likes. And the movies that peek into his top 10 are relatively standard. I mean, you have Black Hawk Down, Zodiac, Toy Story 3, and There Will Be Blood. Now, speaking of There Will Be Blood, his comments about the movie are what's going viral on the internet. His early comments on the movie are not that unique. He mainly talks about Daniel Day-Lewis and how great of a performance he has in the movie, which, mind you, Daniel Day-Lewis is fantastic in There Will Be Blood. His performance is really what makes this movie a masterpiece in my opinion. When things go off the rail is when Tarantino talks about Paul Dano and his performance in the movie. There Will Be Blood would stand a good chance at being number 1 or 2 if it didn't have a big giant flaw in it, and the flaw is Paul Dano. Obviously, it's supposed to be a two-hander, but it's also drastically obvious that it's not a two-hander. Dano is weak sauce, man. He is the weak sister. Austin Butler would have been wonderful in that role. He's just such a weak, uninteresting guy, the weakest effing actor in SAG. This is such a weird and unnecessary dig at Paul Dano, whom of which I think is fantastic in There Will Be Blood. I've seen this movie over 20 times, I think, and I think that the movie isn't as good if it isn't for the two-hander of Daniel Day-Lewis and Paul Dano. I also find it weird that he takes an actor that is popular today and is like, oh, if you took the actor of Austin Butler today and put him in the movie back when it was made, it would be great. That's like me saying Ryan Gosling today would have been better in Citizen Kane than Orson Welles. What are we on about? Unless Quentin Tarantino truly feels that Austin Butler, when he was 14 or 15 back when There Will Be Blood was made, would have been a better actor in it than Paul Dano was, which, no, he wouldn't be. Who would have thought that Quentin Tarantino would have had like this vendetta against Paul Dano? Like, did he cut him off in traffic or something, or was he up for a role and he kind of pushed Quentin Tarantino aside and took something else like the Batman instead of being in, I don't know, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or something? I did read that multiple news outlets has reached out to Paul Dano and his representation to get a quote from him, but there has been nothing said just yet. But what do you think about Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood? Do you like Paul Dano in that movie? What do you think about Quentin Tarantino's comments about Paul Dano? Let me know in the comment section.